Okay, folks, we're back. I pre-mixed a few colors. This painting is primarily greens, the terracotta pot, and the flowers, which are a beautiful pink color. They're not red. And I'll show you what I basically did here in my box. What I do is try to mix three values of a color to start. This is the green I was telling you about, which is ultramarine and Indian yellow. I pulled some of that down here and I mixed some cad yellow in it. Pulled a little more cad yellow. And I did the same. This is alizarin crimson. This is an unusual color. This is one Cobra makes. You could use Terra Rosa. And I did the same thing here, and I did this, made some terracotta colors too. Three values. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get you back here. Am I making you dizzy? Hang on. Okay, we're going to start with the greens. Get them blocked in. And I'm going to start with that dark green, even though, you know, there aren't a lot of leaves that dark up there really. But I'm just kind of going to block in the mass. I consider myself an impressionistic painter, and I don't like to explain everything. I think it's boring. That's just my opinion. When I paint flowers or leaves or, you know, I explain a few of them. I just think it's more interesting if you just mass them in. It's not for everybody, though. By the way, if you're interested in my work, you can find me at Barbara, B-A-R-B-A-R-A, Pask, P-A-S-K.com. I have a website on FASO. A lot of variety of work, a lot of paintings that are very reasonable. I do a lot of little bird paintings and stuff, very, very affordable. I actually did a bigger version of this the other night. Some red geraniums. Maybe I'll show you that before we leave. There's one oddly sticking up here, which I may not put in. Again, I'm just looking at the whole mass of greens, trying to block in the whole thing. I just love geraniums. I put them out every year. That's pretty much the shape of all of the leaves. I think now we'll step down to the next green and we'll start highlighting a few of these. Save the lightest green for where the light's hitting the leaves. Like it's really bright here and really down in here. got too many light sources really, and it's just, I can't help it. It's still daylight out, and I've got a window over there, and I got a ceiling light, and then I've got a clip light on top of the setup there. So again, not ideal. I like one light source really. Let's try shutting off the overhead light and see what that looks like. See if I've got enough natural light behind me to paint or not. I don't think so. I really don't. All right, we're going to turn it back on. Even though I prefer to work from life, sometimes I work from photographs. The last pot of geraniums I did, I told you I just did one here recently. I did go out and shoot it in the sunlight, and then I did paint that from a photograph. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think you should paint from life so you have the experience, and, you know, do it some. Cameras tend to block all your darks together. You don't see into the shadows. And geraniums are interesting. They have little tendril things hanging down. You know, we'll have to suggest those. All right, now I'm going into the lighter green, and we'll do some things with that. Recently ordered some new brushes. I like the rosemary brushes, and these are the evergreen. If you can see that or not. They're softer. I was using the ivory, which are more like a bristle, and these are softer. I don't know, enjoying them. It's a change. It's nice. I think they are considered to be some of the best brushes made, in my opinion. Most of the big boys, the really good artists that I am aware of, use the rosemary. They come out of the UK. We're just going to keep pushing forward. I'm not saying those leaves are finished at all, but I know I need a lot more light. So we're just going to keep blocking things in, though. I'd like to just get things blocked in. I'm taking my darkest pink color, and I'm going to just block in the shape of the flowers. I'm mixing a little bit of the mid value that I mixed up into the darks, just to lighten this a little bit. If you can see the difference, it's a little better, a little closer. Now, there isn't one over here, but I may throw one over there. Okay, there's a mass here, there's a couple here, and then up here is one. See, let me show you when we get ready for this. This is the highlight color. See, it should really make them pop. Do they pop? All right, so that kind of, I feel like everything's a little bit contained, though, within the arrangement. We may run something off. I don't know. Maybe we need another one over there. We'll see. All right, let's block in our terracotta pot. We'll start with the darkest value, which is down here in the corner, tucked underneath his foliage. Well, there's a pattern on this pot, which obviously we can't see much of the pot, but we may suggest some of it, you know, like over in here. Actually, the angle of that is more like that as I look at it. Take my brush and hold it out there and try to determine the angle. The lightest lights on this terracotta is actually up here on the top where it's catching the light. And I try to work dark to light, thin to thick. So at the end, you know, to really make these lights pop, we may end up going pretty heavy. And the color I put on the lip is too pink, in my opinion. This is much warmer, so. And it's hidden over here too, I guess. I don't know. And then some of it's hidden in here. Would have been nice to gone out and painted these in the sunlight. I'm thinking about background color. Right now I've got a dark screen behind there. And the leaves, I have them much darker than they are in reality, so we'll be lightening those up. And I've got a lighter colored cloth underneath the pot right now. Getting some odd shadows actually. I think because I got the light above it. Here, let me show you again. Let's turn that ceiling light off again, see how that changes it. I bet it improves the setup because we don't have so many. Still got strange shadows. See the shadows on the left side of the pot and the right. That's because I've got the light up in the corner there, see. I could have clipped it to the side. That might have been better. We might do that. All right, let me move you back. Let me think about that because I don't really have, I haven't defined the lights that well at this point anyway, so. We might do that. Alright, let me look at that. You want to look at that? So I moved it to the side. I think that's better. You know, my left side of the arrangement is really lit. And my shadows on the right. These are just a beautiful pink. All right, we'll bring you back. I think that's what we're going to do. Leave the light on the side so that pot will be really nicely lit over here, which is kind of fun. You know, I can see the detail on the pot a lot better. There's kind of a leaf kind of pattern. What do you think? So that makes it a little lighter over into here. I'm actually catching a wee bit of light over there even. Very dark under there. There's a shadow over here now, which I think is better. Some of that dirt's catching a little light now too. All right, before we do the background, I think I'm just gonna keep working on this. I haven't made a decision yet on that, and I want to brighten these leaves way up. See how long we've been on here. 22 minutes. We'll let it go to 30 minutes and then I'll stop it and we'll start another one. All right, let's, now we've got some really nice bright light leaves. Put a little more yellow in there and just a littlest bit of white. But these are really catching some nice light now. Bet that pops. And this one down here. I am thinking about the shape of a geranium leaf. They're kind of and even that stem is catching a nice light. Light's everything, I think, you know, whether you're outside or you're inside, or especially outside, you chase the light. Lots of stems and things going on. Some are really catching the light in the middle there. And actually these way over here are catching light too. And that stem. And these out here. And just the very edge of some of those, which might make that interesting. We'll go back with some mid-value and explain the leaf. I'm standing to paint, obviously, but when I'm outside, I tend to stand. And when a lot of times I'm doing still lifes, I'll stand. But when I really need to get in there, sometimes I'm sitting. I never did go back to the wine bottles. It's still sitting there from the other previous video. You know, we'll probably even put some rust colors into the foliage. I see that here and there. You know, when things are dying and on the leaves and like on the edge there. Just all about observing what you're painting. These little things that hang down have little color on the ends. This guy's just a mass of little, I don't even know what to call them. How are we looking from your point of view? All right, we're going to try some of these really bright pinks in here now. See, I think it needs to be a richer color than that. That's the trouble with white. You know, you lighten with white, but you also cool with white. So you got to be careful. So I'm playing around, putting a little yellow in there, a little cad red light, because I want them to, you know, feel warm, not cool. My preference would have been that they'd been red. And I could have painted them red, I guess. Still could, I guess, but see, I think they feel cool. Let's try this. Definitely a warmer color. Not light enough, so we'll have to maybe go back in and touch it with some lighter values, because we want those flowers light. And I don't want to do them all. I want to do them where you know, the ones that are catching the light, and they're not all catching the light. And I usually get a palette knife into my work toward the end, so that may even be what we do to get some heavy texture on these flowers. We may go in with a palette knife. Pulling them a little more pink. I don't know if you can tell. Trying to get light without getting too cool. Pinks are tricky. That's what happens when you pull white into red. You get pink. I mean, and they are pink, but they're more fuchsia, almost. This one way up here is catching a little bit. You can see I got some heavy paint on that brush now, maybe. Actually, you know, I got light shooting across over here even. Okay, let's stop this because it's been, I'm sorry, 35 minutes.